All right, so this is Dr. Matson. I just wanted to walk you through a little bit of class because I know there's been some confusion or questions about things. So this is your class. Okay, I'm under the content tab right now. And so it's showing me that I'm in week 2, which is for this week. Assignments like this, you don't need to format an APA. Okay, you only need to do like the APA title page and, like formatting for like the big project that you do with Don't Shoot the Dog. Okay. If it says references, add the references, cite those in APA style. Like this one says, you don't have to cite anything. You just do your bullet points, explanation. That's it. I've already graded those that have turned them in this week. Uh, and then let me go in and see if I can find the discussion board rubric. You have one next week. So next week's discussion, and I think I have an announcement that's set to go out on this one. So you're going to respond based on your last name. Okay. So if your last name begins with A through M, you're going to respond to vignette 1. If it's N through Z, you respond to vignette 2. Uh, and then when you do the replies, you're doing them on the opposite vignette that you posted on. So if you wrote your initial post on vignette 1, then you're going to do your 2 replies on vignette 2, and then vice versa. Okay. Uh, so you can see some students have already posted in it this week. I don't know. I have a different view than you guys do, but I'm trying to figure out how you guys see the rubric. Here it is. Okay, so discussion rubric. It's the same rubric for every post. Okay. And you didn't need any references for the introduction post last week. I just put that in your comments to remind you guys that in the future you need them. So basically, to get the full points, if your initial post is somewhere between 200 and 250 words, you're good to go. If you have 2 replies and they're between 125 and 150 words minimum, you're good to go. If you have 2 APA references included in your post, no spelling or grammar issues, you're good to go. And then your initial post should always be in by Wednesday and the 2 replies by Sunday. So if you've got that, you're good to go. That's how you get the full points on the discussions, okay? So it's the same rubric for every discussion post. And then let's go back into content and look at your Don't Shoot the Dog video. Or I'm sorry, book that you guys are reading. So you're going to select a subject, an animal, yourself. You can do it on another person or a child. Just, obviously get their consent, change their names, protect confidentiality on it. Okay, you're reading the book, Don't Shoot the Dog by Karen Pryor. There's 6 chapters in it, and it goes through different reinforcement techniques, things that relate primarily to operant or classical conditioning. So the first part of the project, you're going to explain, what it is you want to do, how you're going to analyze their behavior, and you're going to come up with some kind of behavior modification plan. Like, how are you going to measure these things? Reinforcement strategies, strategies for eliminating the unwanted or undesired behaviors, and then think about the timing for the reinforcement schedules. Okay. An example here for step 1. So this just kind of walks you through, kind of a brief outline of what things that you could include for step 1. Okay. I'm not saying you have to, do everything just as you see here, but this is just an example for you to follow. And then, but yours should be a total of 3 pages. Okay. For step 1. And then for project step 2, you're going to implement and reflect on that behavior. Okay. And your reflection here should be at least 3 pages, following APA style and so forth. So you're taking what you did for step 1 and you're putting it into action for step 2, right? So that's where you actually have to go in and try and change or modify the behavior. So you might have video recordings, you might have, written out different observations that you've watched over the period of time that you've been trying to implement the behavior. You could create some kind of data chart. You need something, though, to document the process. Okay, some kind of detailed record showing what that behavior is, and the effectiveness of trying to change that behavior or modify that behavior. Okay, and then you're doing your 3 pages for the reflection and the analysis. There's questions here. These aren't the only questions. This is just a guideline to get you started and to help you write those 3 pages, right? So you don't have to follow these questions to a T. It's just to help you out. And then the last part that you do for this is to create a presentation that kind of walks us through what you did, where your shortcomings were, where the successes were. It's not necessarily about making sure that you absolutely change or modify the behavior, but what did you learn about the process as you go? Okay, that's what you want to share with us. That's what your project should focus on. So you're going to do an audio recorded presentation, about 10 minutes minimum in length. So that is the project as a whole. If you have other questions, feel free to reach out. Ignore this folder. That's for a different project from a different semester. But all your weeks are set up the same. You've got information that relates to that chapter. Your assignments are all listed in here. And so that each week, it gives you other information that relates to that chapter along with the whatever assignments that are due for that chapter. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. I am always here to support and help you, and I look forward to working with you throughout the semester.